ready to dive into the world of positive thinking. We're going to find out if it's really all it's cracked up to be, or if it's just, another self-help fad.
Yeah, it's easy to be cynical, right?
Totally. But we've got a ton of sources to dig into. We've got a podcast episode, briefing document, FAQs, even a whole study guide on this.
Wow, so we're really going deep on this one, huh?
Absolutely. We're going to see if the power of positive thinking is fact or myth.
I mean, it's easy to dismiss positive thinking as just wishful thinking, right?
For sure.
But the sources we have, they actually dig into some pretty compelling evidence. And they even have some practical applications too.
Okay, cool. So before we go full-on science geek, let's just clear up some of the, the misconceptions about positive thinking.
Okay, sounds good.
So what I heard is that it's all about ignoring your problems.
Oh yeah, that's a classic one.
Right.
But our sources are pretty clear that positive thinking is not about burying your head in the sand. It's more about, acknowledging those problems are there, but facing them with the belief that you can handle them.
It's like having that, okay, this is tough.
Yeah, exactly.
But I've got this kind of attitude.
Exactly. That's the spirit.
So it's not about pretending everything is like sunshine and rainbows.
Yep.
It's more about approaching challenges with a can-do attitude.
Exactly. It's about shifting your focus from why me to, okay, what's my next move?
I like that.
And that actually brings us to another myth, that positive thinking guarantees success.
Oh, right. Right, like it's some magic spell.
Right, but it's probably more nuanced than that.
Yeah, for sure.
So our sources suggest that, positive thinking isn't a guarantee, but it can really seriously increase your chances of success.
Okay.
Because a positive mindset equips you with better problem-solving skills.
Mm-hmm.
It boosts productivity, which, makes you more likely to reach your goals.
So it's like a secret weapon?
It's like a secret weapon in your arsenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a guaranteed win, but it helps.
But it helps, exactly.
Speaking of these misconceptions, I used to think that positive people never have bad days.
Oh yeah, I've heard that one too.
But that's just, not realistic.
Not at all.
Yeah.
All the sources, really emphasize that everyone, even the most optimistic person, will experience negative emotions.
Right.
The difference is how you process them.
Yeah, okay.
It's about acknowledging those feelings,
Yeah.
learning from them, and not letting them, take over your entire outlook.
So it's more about how you bounce back from those,
Yeah.
like setbacks, not pretending they don't exist.
Right. Think of it as emotional resilience.
Okay, I like that.
Now that we've addressed some of the common myths,
Yeah.
let's delve into the fascinating science behind positive thinking.
Yeah, I'm really curious about this. Is there actual evidence that, supports its benefits?
Absolutely. The podcast episode actually highlights a Harvard study that found this remarkable link between optimism and recovery time
Oh, wow.
from surgery and illness. Really?
Yeah, so it turns out that optimists tend to recover faster because their positive outlook helps reduce stress. And that, in turn, allows the body to heal more efficiently.
So it's not just about feeling good mentally.
Right.
It actually has physiological benefits too.
Exactly. It's pretty amazing.
That's really impressive.
And there's more. A University of California study discovered that positive employees are a whopping 31% more productive than their more pessimistic coworkers.
31%. That's a huge difference.
I know, right?
Did they say why it was such a big impact?
Yeah, they found that a positive mindset, it fosters creativity, it enhances problem-solving skills, and it reduces those pesky stress levels, all of which contribute to that increased productivity.
Okay, so there's actual scientific backing to the power of positive thinking.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But how do we translate that into practical steps?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Right. Can you really just decide to be positive?
Well, it's not quite as simple as flipping a switch, but our sources do offer some tangible strategies for cultivating positivity.
Okay.
And one of the most widely recommended is gratitude journaling.
Oh, I've heard of that.
It sounds simple, but incredibly effective.
I'm curious about the impact of gratitude journaling, though. What specific changes did people experience in these studies?
Well, the study showed that spending just 5 minutes a day writing down 3 things you're grateful for can have a remarkable impact on your outlook.
Really?
Yeah, it's like training your brain to focus on the good things in life.
So you're basically rewiring it for positivity.
Exactly.
So it's about actively shifting your perspective.
Yes.
Not just hoping for good things to happen.
Exactly.
I like that. What else do the sources suggest?
Another powerful technique is visualization.
Okay.
It's about creating a clear mental picture of yourself achieving a goal. You know, whether it's acing a presentation or reaching like a fitness target or whatever.
While I kind of see the logic in visualization, I do wonder, is there a risk of it just becoming like escapism?
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
And that's something to be mindful of, for sure.
Instead of a tool for action?
The key with visualization is to use it as a motivational tool
Okay.
that fuels action, not a replacement for it.
Gotcha.
So you still need to put in the work.
Yeah, of course.
But visualizing success can give you that extra edge.
Interesting. So it's like a mental rehearsal.
Exactly, like a mental rehearsal before the big game.
I like that.
And, you know, it's not just about individual goals.
Okay.
The sources emphasize the importance of surrounding yourself with positive people.
Oh, that makes total sense. Like if you're constantly surrounded by negativity,
Yeah.
it's going to be tough to stay positive.
I mean, an uphill battle.
Yeah.
It's like creating a positive feedback loop.
Uh-huh.
The more you surround yourself with positivity, the more it reinforces your own positive mindset.
Gotcha.
And speaking of reinforcement, the sources also highlight the importance of self-compassion.
So cutting yourself some slack.
Yeah.
Being kind to yourself.
Exactly.
Especially when things don't go as planned.
Precisely. Self-compassion is essential for maintaining that positive outlook, especially when you face those inevitable setbacks. It's about recognizing that you're human. You're gonna make mistakes.
Right.
And that's okay.
This is making me think about some, like, common questions people have about positive thinking.
Oh yeah, like what?
Like, can you be realistic and positive at the same time?
Uh-huh.
Like, acknowledging the good stuff doesn't mean you're ignoring the bad stuff.
Right. That's such a good question.
Yeah.
And it's one that our sources actually address directly.
Oh, good.
It's not about pretending everything is perfect.
Right.
It's about acknowledging those challenges are there,
Uh-huh.
but choosing to focus on the potential solutions and the opportunities for growth.
So it's about finding that balance between optimism and, being realistic.
Exactly. And another question that often comes up, can pessimists change?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right. Like, can someone who's naturally inclined to see the glass half empty actually shift their mindset to be more positive?
Now, that's a question I've pondered myself. Like, is it really possible to, rewire your brain for positivity?
Well, according to our sources, the answer is a resounding yes.
Wow, okay.
But it takes conscious effort and consistent practice. It's just like learning any new skill. But even the most ingrained thought patterns, they can be changed.
So it's not about like an overnight transformation.
Yeah.
It's about actively working on developing a more positive outlook.
Exactly. It's about rewiring your brain to look for the good, to focus on solutions rather than problems, and to cultivate that resilient spirit that says, I can handle whatever comes my way.
Okay, this is all making a lot of sense.
Good.
But I have one more question that's been kind of bugging me.
Okay, shoot.
Does embracing positivity mean you're suppressing negative emotions? Isn't it healthy to, acknowledge those feelings and process them?
That's such a great question.
Yeah?
And it's one that the sources address head on.
Okay, good.
Positive thinking doesn't mean denying or suppressing negative emotions.
Okay.
It's about recognizing those emotions are there, understanding where they're coming from, and then choosing to focus on constructive solutions rather than getting stuck in a cycle of negativity.
So it's about finding healthy ways to cope with those emotions.
Yes.
Not pretending they don't exist.
Exactly. It's about being mindful of your emotional state and choosing how you want to respond, rather than letting your emotions dictate your actions.
Okay. This has been a fascinating deep dive so far. We've busted some myths, explored the science. We've even learned some practical techniques for cultivating positivity.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool, right?
Yeah, but there's still so much more to uncover.
Definitely. We've only just scratched the surface of this complex and intriguing topic. Welcome back to our deep dive into the power of positive thinking.
One thing that really struck me in the sources was this idea that positive thinking, it isn't just a mindset, it's like a whole lifestyle.
Yeah, that's a really insightful point. And the sources do suggest it's about weaving these positive habits and practices into your everyday life.
Okay.
Not just thinking happy thoughts now and then.
Gotcha.
It's about, approaching everything, work, relationships, those challenges,
Right.
with that underlying belief in yourself and your ability to, navigate those things effectively.
So it's less about a quick fix and more about committing to cultivating that positive outlook.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, what does that actually look like?
It can look like so many different things. It could be, starting your day with a gratitude practice, or, maybe integrating some positive affirmations into your routine.
Okay.
Maybe it's, being mindful of your social circle and seeking out those who uplift and inspire you. Or maybe it's just prioritizing, those experiences that bring you joy, that nourish your spirit.
So it's about creating an environment, like both internal and external, that supports and like reinforces your positive mindset.
Exactly.
Okay.
And, it's important to remember that while positive thinking can be super powerful, it's not a substitute for getting professional help.
Right, of course.
If you're struggling with mental health issues, it's crucial to seek support from, a qualified therapist or healthcare provider.
Right. So it's not about dismissing or like minimizing serious mental health concerns.
Exactly.
Positive thinking can complement those efforts,
Absolutely.
but it's not a cure-all.
Right.
One point the sources make repeatedly is that positive thinking doesn't mean suppressing or denying negative emotions.
Absolutely. It's about acknowledging and understanding those feelings, but choosing not to dwell on them.
Right.
It's about shifting your focus towards, solutions and actions that you can take, rather than getting caught in, that spiral of negativity.
One of the sources used a really interesting analogy, actually.
Oh, yeah.
They compared positive thinking to being a gardener. You can't control the weather,
Right.
but you can choose which seeds to plant and how to nurture them.
I love that.
Right.
That's such a good analogy.
Yeah.
It beautifully illustrates that idea that even when, life throws these unexpected challenges your way, those, storms,
Right.
you still have that power to cultivate that positivity within yourself. You get to choose how you respond to those external forces.
And speaking of responding to challenges, the sources also kind of delve into this question of, can pessimists actually change? Can you really teach an old dog new tricks, so to speak?
Right. Well, according to the sources, the answer is a resounding yes.
Really?
It takes conscious effort and consistent practice, but even the most ingrained pessimistic tendencies can be shifted. You can essentially reprogram your thinking.
So it's less about changing who you are at your core and more about expanding your capacity for positivity.
Yeah, exactly. And the first step, as outlined in the study guide, is to become more aware of your automatic thought patterns.
So paying attention to that inner dialogue, catching yourself when you slip into those negative thought loops.
Exactly. Once you're more aware of those patterns, then you can start to challenge and reframe them.
Okay.
So, instead of focusing on what's wrong, try to find the opportunity or the lesson in the situation. Instead of asking, why me?
Right.
Ask, what can I learn from this?
It's about actively seeking out the silver lining, even in those dark clouds.
Exactly. And the sources really emphasize, self-compassion is crucial throughout this process.
Right, because we can be our own worst critics.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially when we're trying to change ingrained habits.
So true. Self-compassion is about treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would extend to, a friend. It's recognizing that you don't have to be perfect to be worthy of love and acceptance.
Okay.
And it's about acknowledging that, those setbacks are a natural part of growth and learning.
It's like giving yourself permission to be human, to stumble and get back up again.
Exactly. And the sources suggest that practicing self-compassion actually makes it easier to cultivate a more positive mindset.
Okay.
When you're not constantly beating yourself up,
Yeah.
you have more energy and resilience to focus on the good and to navigate those inevitable challenges.
This is resonating with me so much. It's making me realize a lot of this is about shifting your internal dialogue.
Yeah, for sure.
And speaking of which, the sources mentioned the power of visualization.
Yes!
And I'd love to hear more about how that works.
Sure. So visualization is a technique that involves creating a vivid mental picture of yourself,
Okay.
achieving a desired outcome. It's almost like you're creating a mental movie of your success.
So it's not just about vaguely hoping for something to happen.
Right.
It's about really immersing yourself in that experience, feeling those positive emotions.
Exactly. And the idea is that by repeatedly visualizing yourself succeeding, you're essentially training your brain to believe that it's possible, which can have a profound impact on your actions and your overall belief in yourself.
You're planting those seeds of possibility in your subconscious mind.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, does it really work? Have there been any studies that show that it's effective?
There have actually been numerous studies, and the research is pretty compelling.
Wow.
The briefing document cites a study where athletes who incorporated visualization techniques into their training, they showed significant improvement in their performance compared to those who didn't.
Really?
And it's not just limited to sports. People have used visualization to achieve goals in all areas of life, from career advancements to personal relationships.
That's incredible. So it's not just like some fluffy self-help concept.
No, not at all.
There's actual science backing it up.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And the sources emphasize, consistency when it comes to visualization.
Okay.
It's not a one-time magic trick.
Gotcha.
It's about regularly taking that time to create those mental images, engage your senses, and truly feel the emotions associated with achieving your goal.
So it's like anything else you want to get good at.
Yeah.
It takes, practice and dedication.
Exactly. Now, another technique that was mentioned in the sources is the use of affirmations.
I've always been a little skeptical of affirmations, to be honest.
Yeah, I get that.
They can feel kind of cheesy and forced.
I understand. I felt the same way initially.
Okay.
But the sources present a really compelling argument for their effectiveness when they're used correctly. The key is to choose affirmations that resonate with you personally and to repeat them regularly with genuine conviction.
So it's not just about mindlessly reciting phrases.
Right.
It's about actually believing what you're saying and embodying that energy.
Exactly. The podcast episode actually delves into the neuroscience behind affirmations.
Oh, cool.
Explaining how they work by gradually changing those subconscious beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
The more you repeat those positive statements, the more your brain starts to accept them as truth,
Okay.
which can have, a profound impact on your self-perception and ultimately your actions.
So it's about consciously rewiring those ingrained thought patterns.
Exactly. And the sources point out that affirmations can be particularly helpful for addressing, specific areas of your life where you might be struggling.
So, if you're dealing with low self-esteem,
Yeah.
you might choose affirmations that focus on self-love and acceptance.
Exactly. Or if you're, feeling stuck in a rut, you might choose affirmations that emphasize growth, change, new possibilities.
It's about tailoring your affirmations to your specific needs and goals.
Exactly. And one thing the study guide highlights is the importance of not just saying the words,
Okay.
but also feeling the emotions associated with those affirmations.
So if you're affirming, I am confident,
Right.
you actually try to genuinely embody that feeling of confidence.
Exactly. It's about aligning with your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions to create that powerful force for positive change.
I'm starting to see how affirmations could be a really valuable tool.
Yeah, they can be really powerful.
Another topic that comes up repeatedly in the sources is gratitude.
Yes.
We've already talked about gratitude journaling,
Mm-hmm.
but is there more to it than that?
Yeah, absolutely. Gratitude is more than just a practice, it's a way of being. It's about cultivating this deep sense of appreciation for the good things in your life, both big and small.
So it's about savoring those everyday moments of joy and beauty,
Yes.
noticing those, simple pleasures that we often take for granted.
Exactly. It could be as simple as enjoying a warm cup of coffee on a chilly morning.
Yeah.
Or appreciating a beautiful sunset. Or feeling grateful for, a heartfelt conversation with a loved one. It's about actively seeking out and acknowledging those moments of goodness that make up our lives.
And the sources suggest that practicing gratitude can actually have a significant impact on our overall well-being.
Oh, absolutely. Studies have shown that gratitude can reduce stress and anxiety, improve sleep quality,
Wow.
boost happiness levels, and even strengthen relationships.
That's incredible. So how do we cultivate more gratitude in our lives?
Yeah.
Is it just about journaling?
Well, journaling is a great starting point, but you can incorporate gratitude into other areas of your life as well.
Okay.
For example, you could start each day by thinking of 3 things you're grateful for,
Uh-huh.
or end each day by reflecting on, the good things that happened.
And we can also make a conscious effort to express gratitude to others more often.
Yes, absolutely. Simple acts like, saying thank you to the barista who made your coffee,
Mm-hmm.
or writing a thank you note to a friend. Those things can have a ripple effect, spreading positivity to those around you.
It's about actively seeking out those opportunities to express appreciation,
Yes.
but both to ourselves and to others. And this brings up an important point that the sources emphasize. gratitude is not about ignoring the challenges in life.
Right, exactly. It's not about pretending everything is perfect or denying those, difficult emotions.
Okay.
It's about choosing to focus on the good, even amidst the challenging. It's about finding those glimmers of hope and beauty, even in the darkest of times.
It's like recognizing that life is a tapestry of both, light and shadow.
Yes.
And then embracing gratitude allows us to, appreciate that full spectrum of human experience.
Beautifully said. And the sources suggest that gratitude can actually be contagious.
Really?
The more gratitude you express, the more you inspire others to do the same, creating this ripple effect of positivity that extends far beyond yourself.
I love that imagery, a ripple effect of gratitude spreading throughout the world. We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. It's fascinating how many, layers there are to the power of positive thinking.
It's a rich and multifaceted topic, and we've only just begun to explore its depths.
So welcome back to our final part of this deep dive on the power of positive thinking.
We've explored the science, debunked some myths, we even got into some practical techniques.
Right. Can we just come out and say it? Is positive thinking just another, fluffy self-help trend? Or is there really something to it?
Based on everything we've seen in these sources, I think it's way more than just a trend.
Okay, yeah.
There's a ton of scientific evidence now that points to the benefits of having a positive mindset.
So it's not just about feeling good. It can actually affect your health, your work, even how you handle setbacks.
Absolutely. And what's really cool is that it's not like some personality trait you're stuck with. It's a skill like anything else. It's a way of approaching life that you can work on and get better at.
Okay, so even if you're not a natural optimist, you can still train yourself to think more positively.
Yeah, exactly. And remember, the sources gave us a bunch of tools to try.
All right.
Gratitude journaling, visualization, even affirmations surrounding yourself with the right people.
Yeah.
And like we said before, it's not about pretending life is perfect, right?
So
It's about choosing to focus on the good, even when things are hard.
it's about facing those challenges head on, but with hope, believing you can overcome them.
One of the sources said it perfectly. Positive thinking is not a magic wand,
Right.
but it is a powerful tool.
I like that. So it's not going to magically make all your problems disappear.
Nope.
But it can give you that resilience, that clarity, the resourcefulness to handle them better.
Exactly. And one thing all the sources stress was being kind to yourself, self-compassion.
Yes.
We've talked about it a lot, but it's really important.
We really are our own worst critics sometimes.
Oh, for sure. Especially when we're trying to change or when we mess up.
Right.
That inner critic can totally wreck any progress we're trying to make on being more positive.
So what's the antidote to that?
Self-compassion. It's like treating yourself with the same kindness you'd show a good friend.
Okay.
You're human, you'll make mistakes, it's all good.
So it's about quieting that inner critic and replacing it with support and encouragement.
Exactly. And research actually shows that self-compassion makes it easier to build a positive mindset.
Makes sense.
When you're not always beating yourself up, you've got more energy, more resilience to focus on the good stuff.
It's like you're making space for growth.
Exactly. Which reminds me, the briefing document talked about how positive thinking isn't a destination, it's a journey.
That's such a cool way to think about it. So it's not about reaching this point where you're always happy and everything's perfect.
Nope.
Because let's be real, life just isn't like that.
Exactly. There will always be ups and downs.
So it's about learning to handle those inevitable challenges with grace, with resilience, and that belief in your own strength.
Exactly. So what does all this mean for you listening? What can you take away from this and actually use in your life?
I think these sources really challenge us to try positive thinking for ourselves.
Yeah.
To try out the different techniques and see what works for you.
Become more aware of your thoughts and start steering them in a more positive direction.
Build a network of people who lift you up, inspire you, and don't forget, gratitude, self-compassion, those are key.
And remember, even little changes in your mindset can have a huge ripple effect on your well-being.
That's powerful. So the big takeaway here is the power of positive thinking is real, and it's for everyone.
Absolutely.
It's not about denying the hard stuff. It's about choosing to approach it with hope, with resilience, and believing in yourself, your ability to make things better.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So go out there and experiment. See what positive thinking can unlock for you.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We're excited to explore more fascinating topics with you soon.